I made a lot of people race on the super chain. Craze back outside and it's right here. It's that super bass. I just woke up and I'm like, what I'm finna do today? Measurements, major flips, makes sense. Okay, let's go. Going up, I'm going long. I told the squad, meet at the base. Punt the bags, I punt the stock. It must be hard to keep the pace. 7 figures out the songs, that was the outcome of my pain. We're bringing $1 billion on chain.
Some people gon' leave whenever there's tough times, but shout out to the real ones that stuck by. Dark days make you appreciate when there's sunshine. Reason I trust mine. Look, I got some moves to make. I gotta get it right now, I refuse to wait. Really don't do the fakes. I gotta keep my grass low just to view the snakes. If only you knew the stakes. Taking these risks to pursue was great. I got some moving bass. Now I'm on chain and I'm using bass. Using bass. Now I'm on chain and I'm using bass. I've been outside, I'ma choose my faith. Cooking the shit of a food on plates. And then when Rio be standing on business, there ain't no way we can lose this race. I had to manage the damage inflicted. Put on the grass, we don't use the brakes. Nah. So many chains I've been able to mint. So many ways now I'm taking my pick. Bullet the best while I'm still in the market. Wallets on wallets, I'm staking a bit. Face like a little B. Say what I say, now she feel to me. Make what I make, now they shielding me.
Big dog, big drums, big bass. When she look around, she see bass. Try to play keep up, but it's way too late.
Onchain is the next online.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jesse Pollack, creator of Base and your host of Onchain Summer Stories. Super excited to be here with Sam, the co-founder of SERA Space, and Victor, who was the first person ever sent to space on chain. We're going to be talking about some of the really cool stuff that SERA Space is doing with space on chain. I want to start a little bit, Sam, just hearing from you, kind of what is SERA? How are y'all thinking about democratizing space travel?
I want to start by. There you go. Oh, thanks so much. No, I think I'll start by just saying, like, how stoked we are that today thousands of base users have taken the first step on a journey that could end with them actually going to space. So
yes, let's go.
Thanks so much for having us. And yeah, I think if I just talk you through what SERA is, fundamentally we're a space agency for everyone. And what that means is opening up access to space exploration and research to communities and everyone on the planet who traditionally might not have had access. There are almost 150 countries that have never had an astronaut, which is just an astonishing figure. And most of those countries don't even have their own space agency. Historically, 80% of astronauts have come from just 3 countries, the USA, Russia, and China. And despite the fact that trillions of dollars has been spent on space infrastructure historically, there are only about 12 people in space at any given time. And the literally unlimited material and energy resources of space remain largely unexploited. So space has been a sort of geopolitical plaything, and an expensive one at that. And it's a sector that is screaming out for disruption. Luckily, over the last years, the cost of actual access to space has been coming down. And with innovative new technologies like our partner Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket, it's getting easier and cheaper for non-traditional space organizations, like SERA, to actually do meaningful things in space, with space, etc. So, our journey started with Victor, as I mentioned. One of the obvious things to do as a space agency that is community orientated is to actually send someone to space. So that was the sort of not so low hanging fruit, 100 kilometers up, but relatively low hanging fruit that we first went for. And, we had a conversation with Blue Origin, and they very kindly allowed us to buy a seat on the New Shepard rocket, which is an incredible piece of technology. And I urge everyone to go and check it out. And we made that seat available to our community through the sale of NFTs in 2022. And one of the biggest problems, Jesse, and I know you're going to help us with this, is that people literally do not believe that what we're doing is real or possible or could possibly apply to him. Like the number one message, and I'll get back to this in a second and let Victor speak to this, is like when we say anybody, we mean anybody. When we say everybody, we mean everybody. Everybody listening to this needs to understand they can go and mint an NFT on Onchain Summit today and gain access to an astronaut selection program that is community voted, and we'll talk about that in a bit, and actually go to space. So Victor, sorry.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say I love it, and we talk a lot about base is for everyone, and I think what I'm hearing from you is that space is for everyone too.
Well, there's certainly room for everyone. So I think that's sorry, I'm just going to turn my notifications off.
I love that, and maybe can you just like we're gonna talk a little bit about what y'all are building, but I'm curious, like why are you doing this on chain? You know, like what about on-chain enables y'all to kind of achieve this goal of making space for everyone?
So transparency and stakeholdership, TLDR, and I'll explain how that works. I think on Victor's flight, and we should let Victor speak to this, is like he took that leap of faith. He saw something online that said, you know, mint this NFT and you could go to space. And instead of dismissing it, you know, he did his research. He saw that we had an announcement, you know, with Blue Origin that it was real. He minted an NFT. And on that first flight, the selection, we had a very short window of time to select the astronaut because the opportunity came up at short notice. And so the selection process was random and it was on chain. And it turned out that was actually sort of a critical piece in terms of the credibility, so that people understood that the selection process, there was no fingers on the scale. I think, you know, traditionally, and again, this is an answer to your question of why on chain. Traditionally, the only people, you know, the 99% of people who have gone to space, you know, work for the government. They're jet fighter pilots, they're scientists, they're engineers, incredible people. But out of the sort of realm of possibility for the rest of us, I'm a failed astronaut candidate myself. I applied when I was in my late teens to join the European Space Agency. So, you know, I'm serious. Like, no, you can't go. You know, you're not an engineer. You're not a fighter pilot. What have you got to offer? So, in that first case, you know, it's about not having our fingers on
the scale.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we've taken that a stage further on this next flight. But actually, I if it's all right, I think we should.
Yeah, I want to hear from Victor. You were the first.
Why did he believe it? So, you know,
you were the first astronaut 2 years ago. You were also, I think, the second ever Brazilian astronaut.
Yeah.
Just talk us like, what was that experience like? And like, yeah, what made you participate in it?
Yeah. Thanks for having us again. We are very, very excited with everything because it's an unbelievable mission. I know, but it's real. I'm a living example of this, of course. It was awesome. It's interesting because yesterday we were talking about the overview effect, which basically is a cognitive shift that astronauts reported after seeing the Earth from space. And the view is it's incredible. It's incredible. And when I returned to my hometown, I was deeply moved. And the question was, how do I go back to my normal life? Because before SERA and the program, I was truly fascinated about space. And like you said, I'm Brazilian. I have no background in scientific stuff. I'm an engineer, but I'm not working with aerospace engineer here in Brazil. At that moment, I never seen a rocket before, and it was something impossible for me at that specific moment. And when I heard SERA for the first time, for me it was like okay, it's a gate open for a chance, especially for me in Brazil. and it was awesome. You can see the videos on my socials, Instagram, YouTube, Blue Origins videos, etc. Was amazing. Was amazing. And now 2 years later, we were with the one of the most incredible missions in history. This is it's very important because now I can help others have an impactful experience like mine. This is very important because there is a lot of ways to do this now, and we have a great chance. So
I love it.
lucky me to meet Sam, Josh, Sarah, and those guys, and we are very excited working together right now.
Yeah, and Sam, tell me, like, on-chain summer and space,
Yeah.
what's happening? How does this work? How can people get involved?
So all they have to do is mint a single digital collectible. We have 3 pieces that celebrate everyone's inner astronaut. And that will give them access to the astronaut selection program when it goes live in a couple of weeks. So at that point, you'll be onboarded into the full selection process. What we've got on this next mission is we bought the whole capsule. So the difference with the first mission is it was a single seat. We want to see how it worked. And now we have 6 seats, and 5 of them are going to be allocated to nations that have either had no astronauts or few, and the 6th seat is open to everyone. So your community is going to be onboarded into that selection process. It's all going to be voted by the community. So everyone who joins SERA not only has the opportunity to propose themselves as a candidate for whichever seat they're eligible for, but they also get to vote on who the candidate will be. So when you get on board with the program, you're going to get a mission badge NFT that gives you voting rights in each of the phases. In the first phase, you're going to be able to vote for 5 other candidates, and they're going to be able to vote for you. And it's all going to be transparent on-chain. There's a leaderboard. At the end of phase 1, we're going to take a certain number and put them into phase 2, and then do a series of cuts. And the people who end up winning the space election, for want of a better word, are going to get a space.
I love that. And so let's say today I go on there, I mint the Space Summer 2024 NFT. What happens next? How does the program how do I participate in the program? What are the odds that I get to be one of the people who actually goes up to space?
So that's going to depend on how many people mint the NFT and access the program, Jesse. So that's the trick. But so when the mission site goes live in a couple of weeks, you'll use your Space Summer 2024 NFT to be granted access. You won't have to pay. You'll go through a KYC process because we need to know which seat you're eligible for, that you're over 18, and that helps us also make sure that the voting process is legitimate and it isn't botted or manipulated in any way. So that's a sort of long-winded answer to why on-chain. Without it, I think people just wouldn't have faith that this was a process that was going to be run in a fair and transparent fashion. It's not just the astronauts. We also have a science experiment program. So anyone who signs up is going to be able to propose an experiment for the astronauts to perform while they're in space, and that too will be voted on by the community. We've got a partner that we're announcing over the coming weeks who's helped us design some experiments that are all about the human body in space, that are going to have a huge amount of value moving forward. And we just hope that this is an activation that sort of gives everyone not only obviously the chance to go to space, which is awesome, but a sort of first step into a world that has historically been pretty closed. So this is about giving everyone, the chance to meaningfully engage in the rest of the universe.
I love that. And, as we look towards the next 5 years, I'm curious, how do you see space travel evolving? You guys are obviously working on accessibility and making it so space is for everyone. How far do you think we're going to get in the next while?
In the next 10 years?
Yeah.
I mean, the cost is coming down year on year. The space.
Oh,
You have companies like Blue Origin that are improving that, space access technology. I think the biggest shift is going to be that historically, space has been seen as something that can sort of increase economic productivity here on Earth. And I think the big shift over the 10 years is that you're going to start to see in-space activity focus on the growth of economic activity in space. So you're going to see factories, hotels, commercial space stations, research facilities, maybe even, space sports, who knows? But this is happening. And I think I'm incredibly jealous of people who are 20 or 30 years younger than me, because there's no doubt whatsoever that if you're a teenager today and you apply yourself and you get involved with programs like ours, or better still, go and do a degree in STEM, you've got a very good chance of ending up living and working in space by the time you're my age, in your 40s.
I love that. Well, I have it as a personal goal of mine to go to space at some point.
Well, Jesse, you know how to do it. Mint the NFT.
I'm going to mint. That's what I already minted a couple. I'm going to mint more because I want to have a good shot at getting to space.
You should, Jesse.
It happened to me. Thanks y'all for coming on. I'm so grateful for this and excited to make space for everyone as we make space for everyone.
Thanks so much, Jesse.
Bye, everyone.
Peace.
See you in space.
See you.